Chaotically Nerdy is a podcast made by nerds for nerds. This podcast is made by adults, for adults, and children with bad parents. Adult language will be used and adult situations may arise. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chaotically Nerdy. I was fine until I looked at Jared.
While they're all cracking up, to explain, Ethan and I are recovering from an illness.
Is he gonna throw up?
Ethan and I are recovering from an illness, and Ethan started coughing, and then I coughed, and of course Jared lost his fucking shit.
Ethan started coughing on purpose is what made me laugh. He was over the mic like, oh my god.
Oh, shit. Are you okay, Jamie?
Oh god.
Shit. Oh, God.
I hate all of you.
God damn it.
It is 12:30 in the morning, you motherfuckers. Woo! I hate all of you.
That's funny.
I don't want to leave it in.
Oh yeah, totally leave it in.
So, on this week's episode is me, Tyler.
And me, Jared.
And me, Ethan.
And me, Ashley.
And me. You gotta stop. I'm gonna keep laughing. Stop it.
It's James.
Oh, man.
Oh god.
So, this week we're going to talk about...
Stop.
Can we leave this in or we have to restart?
No, I'm leaving it in.
Oh, my God.
It's too funny not to leave in. The people need it.
It's the delirium we're sitting in.
Everybody, more than Corey, just needs to hear
You're going to
this.
have to leave the bleeps in.
No, I don't.
No.
I can... Well, I'll hear the coughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll figure out a way. Yeah, I'll leave the bleeps.
Yeah.
It'll work out. So this week, in between our coughing and laughing fits, we're going to talk about Secret Levels, episodes 4 through 6.
Which are the Unreal Tournament Zan, the Warhammer 40K, and the Pac-Man episode.
So, to start us off, Unreal Tournament Zan is up first. It is a 19-minute episode. Mm-hmm. The characters are the Game Master, who is played by Elodie Young, the Necrus Captain, played by Gideon Emery, Dean, who is played by Mitch Eakins, Parker, who is played by Chris Payne Gilbert, Leandry Technician, played by Carlin James, and the Arena Announcer, played by Fred Tatasciore.
Tatas.
Tatasciore. He's like super famous.
Gotcha.
Here's a really, really fun fact for you. Tata is apparently the Latin way of saying daddy. So you're welcome.
He does a lot of it. Like,
You're welcome.
You're telling me when I'm staring at my
That-
wife,
he's
I'm
also
just calling her
very
daddy.
visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're looking at her tatas and going
Hulk
tata. You're
for
calling
about
her daddy.
20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, he's been Hulk for a long
Every
fucking
Marvel
time.
thing.
Yeah.
Also, Gideon Emery is in like fucking every video game known to man.
And
Yeah.
Teen Wolf.
That seems like a weird pull, but okay.
I knew I'd recognize his voice from somewhere.
I don't recognize any of the others.
Elodie Young is Elektra in the Netflix Daredevil.
Oh yeah, she is.
And
Cool.
something else? I'm not sure.
So, there's not a question on here but I want to bring it up. Have any of us played any of the games?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's just one in there.
No, there's
There's two,
like,
three?
There's like four.
Oh,
I don't remember.
Because they had one that came out like 2020, and then they had or 2018. Then they had the ones back in like the early 2000s.
Like I remember 3.
There's Unreal Tournament 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then they had the one that came out in 2018.
Gotcha.
My answer is no. I've not played.
Yeah.
Mine's no as well.
Ethan?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
They're like the OG like arena shooter. Like,
Yeah.
kind of built the whole, like, other than Halo, kind of built it all up.
So right off the bat, we see the droid, and his eyes, one of the droids, his eyes turns from red to green, and he gains awareness of self.
Yeah, all from getting hit in the head.
Yeah, that's literally
Little
what it
drama.
was.
Literally knocked a screw loose.
Gains self-awareness, though, and he still goes, I'm going to do my job. Capitalism 101.
Yep, he did his job.
Well, I mean, he still has his programming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true, too. Mech Team Omega. I guess I don't get that.
The Mech Team Omega was something that I saw. It was I think it was a sign that was on something that I was like, oh, let me
it's
take it down.
it's the groups of.
It's when he gains
when he's still
sentience.
mining.
Yeah, and then they start all the other the human miners like start killing or like being
bots
very
because-
and it just goes through like alpha, beta, gamma.
And he gets moved from group to group because
okay, that makes more sense now.
presuming that all the other bots that he was with in like Mech Team Omega were destroyed.
Yeah.
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 Okay, makes sense. The bot gets angry, hacks the dude's suits,
Yeah.
which makes
Yeah.
sense. At some point, it's going to rebel.
Yeah.
Forced to fight in gladiator combat, which was badass. The whole
It
time,
was.
the
It
whole
was
time
really
they
cool.
fought, it was awesome. Droid Power Rangers. Or wait, no, I skipped one. Who is Emo Caesar?
Yeah, so the Caesar comment is a comment for Caesar Flickerman because it was the announcer guy. And I was like, oh, who is this emo-looking Caesar from Hunger Games? Because I was sitting there doing why is this guy's personality familiar? And I was like, oh, I know exactly who that is. That's Caesar Flickerman. And I was like, why is he emo, though? I was very confused by him.
Gotcha. Droid Power Rangers. All the suits are different colors for those who survive. Were they different colors when they survived, or were they...
It was more like he was like a color, and then again, they were just getting shipped out, and like he would have one survive, like
Okay.
save one, and then that one, essentially, yeah.
Gotcha. Green, yellow, orange.
Those were the primary colors for
Yeah.
the majority of the people who were there.
Yeah.
There were other colors too, but those were the ones that we just got down really quick.
Gotcha. Bullets are a disc of some sort.
Depends on the
That
gun.
was the particular gun.
Yeah, that was the
disc
saw
Okay.
blade.
Yeah.
I came into this, like I said, with
Yeah.
no knowledge
Yeah.
of the actual game
That's,
itself.
yeah,
so.
that's like a super famous weapon from the games.
It's
Yeah.
been in other games too, because I
Yeah,
know
well,
I've seen
it's
it.
popularized from
No
them.
tournament.
But I
Yeah.
mean, like the
Didn't know that.
like the rocket launcher, it's like the rocket jump is popularized from
Yeah.
them and Quake.
Oh.
And then the sniper was weird because the sniper in Unreal Engine or an Unreal Tournament could go through everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you got the sniper, if you could like shoot through walls with it. It's kind of insane.
Gotcha. Letting the algorithm get better at fighting together.
I was giggling because I'm pretty sure you made a comment about the algorithm, and I was like,
Yeah,
their algorithm is perfecting itself.
it was. Fighting as a pack equals Rome is the mob.
Yeah, so from our Gladiator episode, it was a comment that I made where I really, really liked the Rome is the mob quote because, well, Rome was the mob, Rome 100%. And it was the same feeling that I got for this was
Yeah.
the team of robots that were actually fighting together fought as a pack. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're entertaining the masses. Rome is the mob.
Yeah. Broke that dude's back 100%.
Oh, yeah.
The sound, the crunch. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a good
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That was a good one.
I don't usually do like broken bones and stuff, and sitting there and actually watching it, I was like, ooh, motherfucker, that hurts.
Yeah. Number one green is the winner and is apparently very powerful.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest complaints that from watching this is I didn't know what number one green's name was, so I just named him number one green.
Yeah.
So like
because I
he
was
has like his like camera thing, like eye, and on the back of it,
It's
it's
a
like
Zan.
it's Zan.
That's where
and they
Zan
just
comes
kind of
And I kind of assumed it was Zan just based
Well,
on
and also
Yeah.
if you hear
I
everyone
didn't.
chanting in the episode, they're like,
Zan.
Yeah.
That's because whenever
It's like a gladiator.
if you-
They're like, we have to give him a name. What's his name? And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
they're chanting Zan because at the end of the combats he's in, you can see on the screen whenever they're looking at his face,
Yeah.
showing his
Camera,
face,
it says
That's
he
Zan.
flips it around,
Yeah.
it
Yeah, that's what
says
he's talking
Zan,
about.
and then he flips it back to look
And
at
I'm
the
like,
camera.
oh, Zan.
Yeah,
Zan.
I didn't notice that. So.
okay.
Yeah.
And then after they take over and win that final match, the Robot Rebellion. Viva la Revolution.
It doesn't though.
Yeah.
No, I know. It was just where it was going,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Vive la révolution!"
I mean, I only know this because I looked it up afterwards, but Zan is the first Unreal Tournament winner. And we actually see the second Unreal Tournament winner. He's the leader of the humans from the first combat.
Gotcha.
Malcolm.
What did you guys think? What was your rating?
So IMDb's rating is an 8.1. We'll start off with that.
5. That's James.
IMDb, the IMDb or all the fans voting on IMDb kind of have it pretty right. I give it like an 8.2. I love Unreal Engine. I love multiplayer games like that, and it felt like doing the tactics one. It just felt like I was like an arena shooter. I played with my friends.
Yeah.
Like it felt old school and fun.
Uno.
It's me. I rated it very high. Of the ones I've watched, this is going to be the second highest rated. It's a 9.3 for me.
Wow, that's a high score.
I fucking loved it. Like,
It's very good.
and the one that's going to be higher is next up.
2. That would be
Jarrett.
Jarrett.
I will go 8.25.
It's down to you and I. Correct. That's me. I rated a 6.84. It wasn't my favorite by a long shot, but it was definitely way more memorable than Sifu was by quite a margin for me. Go ahead, hon. It's all you.
I would do 7.9, I think.
Did I say 9.4?
Yeah.
I meant to say
9.3.
9.3.
You did say 9.3.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
I had wrote down originally 9.4, and then I got thinking that was too high.
No, you wrote 9.3.
7.9.
Or
It's
said
good.
9.3.
It's entertaining. It's really rather well done. I just the lore behind Unreal Tournament, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, why would you pit humans against the robots in there when the whole point is to have an arena type thing, like a gladiatorial thing, without actually having any person die
Yeah.
when it's just robots?
Robots.
Yeah, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm happy that Unreal Tournament, which is a fun game,
Political prisoners.
are they?
Do robots
I
have
would
rights?
assume.
I mean, that's kind of what it
literally
seemed
how
like.
Rome did it.
Well,
They were political prisoners.
I know, but I mean, if we're talking about a futuristic society, futuristic societies, as we go through time, get less and less bloodthirsty.
It's also a lot of it's just people that need money, people that are poor, that need money in like the set of it.
Robots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
how
the lore behind it.
That's
Yeah.
that's how the Romans did it.
I know, but
People
I know. What I'm saying is this is a futuristic society, and as we know, societies, they get progressively less and less bloodthirsty as we go along, because we progressively value life more.
I understand that. I wasn't making a comment on the time frame nor like any of that. I was just making a comment on how I see the parallels between
Yeah.
Roman society and how the gladiatorial combat in this worked from just my historical background of having studied the Romans for as long as I have.
Yeah.
That's what I see. Is I see the bread and circuses. I see the bloodlust. I see the. So to me, it would make sense if they were political prisoners of some sort or some sort of like executable
I'm
criminal
not saying
population.
I'm against gladiatorial combat. I'm just saying that's just what we see typically of society as it goes through time.
But I'm just saying, without the idea of where these people come from, that would be the first idea that I had is political intrigue mixed with like
Yeah.
people who are trying to weed their way out of poverty in some way, shape, or form, and or people who are forced to go into it for a different reason, like they are criminal. And they're being executed because that's like I said, that's how the Romans did it, and the immediate thought was I was like, oh, okay, cool, I see the parallels.
I see the parallels. I just don't. It doesn't fly for me.
Okay, so let's go on to Warhammer 40K. So it's 19 minutes long, according to IMDb. The characters in it are Blade Guard Sergeant Mataris. That is played by Adewale
Oh, good luck, brother.
Akenayu.
You want me to help you out here?
Yeah.
Mr. Echo from Lost.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I always refer.
Wale Kenayua Agbajay.
Sure.
That is how I've always referred to him for the last 20 years. Mr. Echo from Lost.
Anna Kuyoi.
Sure.
UA.
Lieutenant Titus is played by Clive Standen.
Yeah.
Oh, Claw standing.
Young Titus is played by Ben Plasala. Astropath is played by Mark Shepard.
Which is a name I actually recognized. Holy shit.
The Sorcerer of Zinch is played by Alexa Khan. And the Ultramarines Orbital Command is played by Mark Shepard.
Yep.
What do you recognize Mark Shepard from?
I don't remember, but
I
I
could.
recognized him from somewhere.
Crossroads.
Yeah.
It's Crowley.
Ah, that makes sense.
I don't know where I recognize him from, but I recognize
I knew I
his
recognized
name.
the name. I was like, who the fuck is that, though, for some
Oh,
reason?
Crossroads demon. King of hell.
So some of the names that you'll see is Mataris, Icaron, Levantus, and Titus. That's the whole crew that went in.
That is
wasn't
the
it?
whole crew that
Okay,
went
that's
in,
what
yep.
I thought. They are Ultramarines. If you don't know what that is, that's a faction in
Warhammer 40K,
Yes.
not just Warhammer.
The Fearless Child, which has always been Titus.
Yeah.
Their mission is to go in, locate, and destroy Relic and secure the bombing coordinates. It is a 100% mortality rate on the mission. It says on the screen, I'm trying to remember what.
No survivors.
Yeah, it's
It roughly says that, but it says something very specific. It's one word. I can't remember it.
It's
for
like
the life of me.
lethality.
Lethality. I think
It's the lethality
I
rate.
think it's also Exterminata.
Oh, that's
Because
what I think.
essentially what they do is Exterminata.
I must have missed the word that came up then
I-
because I
Lethality. 100%.
yeah.
It's roughly, that's what it says, but I'm trying to remember. It's one exact word, and it's going to drive me insane that I can't remember it. I really want to spend time looking for it, but I know I can't.
I can.
Absolute. It's,
Oh, yeah.
It's lethality percentage or something like that. It says absolute. I don't know why that just randomly came to me. Oaths
Oaths.
of, I can't say that word,
Oaths
of moment. Papers they carry on them. Jamie and Ethan could probably explain what those are better.
I don't know if they're still called Oath of Moments at this point in 40K.
A lot of them that like the papers they carry on them are just important to Ultramarines specifically. Because if you notice, no other
That's what.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
specific to the specific
there's
legion.
yes,
Yeah.
they're just basically codes and oaths that are important to Ultramarines in that moment. Everyone has a different amount on them because each one has a different experience.
It depends on certain oaths that they've also
Yes.
personally taken as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
Like Titus will have more because he was in Death Watch.
Yes.
If you notice how he has a different colored pauldron than anyone else because he was in Death Watch, he has a different experience in all of them.
Which is interesting because they tie the Fearless Child is tied into that
Yes.
because that's part of the reason why he went to Death Watch.
Yes, because he doesn't have the fear of
The chaos.
the void and of the chaos that everyone else has because it has no effect on him,
Yes.
which is another weird thing that is really weird for him as a Space Marine because, I mean, yes, there's a classic, like, Warhammer stereotype where if you're a named Space Marine, you're never going to die because named Space Marines live forever, essentially. But him specifically is really weird because chaos does not affect him like at all whatsoever.
So, I wrote down that there was a really cool reversal of the destruction of the piece of paper in the canyon right before they land.
Yeah.
And when they actually do land and they're being attacked by the raiders, the cultists.
The cultists.
Yeah.
One of the things that I did notice was that they're really actually quite appropriately people sized
Yeah.
for like they're supposed to be what 9 to 10 foot tall,
Yeah.
somewhere in there, and like actually watching them go up against the raiders, you could see that height, you
Yeah.
could see that
You
stature,
could see that.
and
they
I was
were-
like, wow, okay, I was impressed enough that I commented on it.
Funny thing is, they're actually I think they're probably like 10 to 11 feet tall now because they're all Primaris Marines, whereas the old Marines were like 9 feet tall. They're like 11 feet tall, and then Primarchs are like 15, 16 feet tall.
Depending on the Primarch.
Depending on the Primarch. Even there are some Primarchs that are like up to 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
That are like towering over people.
And some Primarchs aren't human anymore in any way, shape, or form.
Some of them are hundreds of feet tall because they're giant serpents that like to fuck.
Thanks, Fulgrim.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And then they drag a body into the pits of Moria.
Yep.
yeah.
The coffin that they were dragging behind them, I was very, very curious on what the actual coffin was there for.
Yeah.
And obviously
Because they hate psychers.
Yeah.
So they basically imprisoned this psyker.
The astropath, and basically imprisoned him because the Imperium of Man hates psychers. They feed 1,000 psychers a day to the God Emperor.
Yeah. So exploration of psyker, it is essentially a magic user. Essentially, a lot of it has to do with more telekinetic powers than it
Yes.
has to do with like magic and spell work and like I don't know, doing rituals and stuff like that.
So sorry to interrupt you, by the way.
No, you're fine.
And
Chaos worshippers, cultists even, because I was very confused by what was attacking them, and I asked, and I was like, "What are they?"
My favorite scene from it was, I think he attacked Macronus. What was his name? Is his name Macronus?
Mataris.
Mataris. When the thing like shot Mataris in the head, and Mataris was holding it, and he just
turned and looked at it.
like headbutts him.
It. Yes.
And it's just brains. It's like, oh, or when I think it was Titus when he dropped the coffin. He grabbed that one by the head and like used a chainsword on another, and then just crushes its head in his hand.
Yeah.
And drops it again.
I don't know. We could go through that whole fight scene with the
It's
cultists.
Oh my!
beautiful.
It's so
It's
good.
so good. It is almost perfectly quiet during almost the whole thing.
Yes.
And it is suddenly and alarmingly violent.
Yeah.
I mean, it is like the first thing you see is all four of them attack like 2 to 3 cultists apiece at the same time, and they're all dead within half a second.
But you
Yeah.
see when one of the Space Marines runs, you very much see, or when Titus runs there at the end, you very much see like, oh, it looks like he's running slow, but he's running like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like 30, 40 miles an hour.
Well, it just looks so
sprinting.
because how big he is.
Yeah.
All the cultists had on headdresses, which are associated with Tzeentch. They got the bird face and the horn mask. Tzeentch, is that male or female? Does it
Tzeentch?
matter? Yeah.
Tzeentch has no gender.
Well, it's not.
Not a gender. That's what I thought, but for some reason I
They're
want
like
to
a-
say he.
They're like a
It's like a bird.
like a
I know what
bird
it is
god.
because I've played
Yeah.
Total War Warhammer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Total War Warhammer actually took a lot from 40K for their newest game whenever they brought in the Chaos Gods, even though they were already in the world.
Yeah, they kind of took what
They took a lot of the specific units,
Yeah.
and put them into Total
Tzeentch,
War Warhammer.
Tzeentch and Slanesh are actually the only 2 Chaos Gods that have had any official artwork about their specific depiction. Nurgle or Khorne have not.
They still don't, as far
Yeah.
as I know. Yeah,
Great Papa Nurgle.
ran through that entire ass car to get to the tank, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was something that Ethan had noticed, and he was like, "Did he just run through that fucking car?"
Yeah, he did. And it
Titus
was
is
awesome.
a badass, dude.
it was cool as shit.
The top gunner was killed by the chain blade, which is a very common. I'm really glad that they had it. I
I'm
mean, I
glad-
knew they would, but
I'm glad that they specifically chose it because Chainblade is a staple of Warhammer 40K.
I wish. Okay, the power axe is cool. I wish we would have seen a power sword.
we did. One of them had a
Did
power
one of them
sword.
have a power sword?
You just don't get to see it very much. One of them
Yeah.
absolutely had a power sword.
Okay, no, I'm thinking more of the Thunderhammer.
Yeah,
The
you're thinking
would've been
Thunderhammer.
Yeah, Thunderhammer would have been
cool. Or
cool.
a power fist. Watching them fucking punch through people with a power fist. Cool
Well, they
shit.
were already punching through people, so they didn't really need the power fist.
yeah,
That's
fair.
probably why.
Yeah, but it's the chain sword that is
It's most iconic.
It is the
Yes.
most iconic thing, and actually them bringing detail onto it too.
Because I think he had his Macragge, his like remember Macragge power or chainsword. That's like Titus's specific chainsword.
Gotcha. Reload,
They did-
charge,
well, they-
badass explosion.
Well, they censored the chainsword though.
Yeah.
They censored it. They panned out of the
Yeah,
Out of
path
the
of the
frame.
chainsword so that you just heard it cutting through meat. Essentially, sorry,
You're good.
I was upset because I wanted to see it.
Yeah. The pauldrons. Go ahead.
Yeah, the reload charge and the badass explosion. I was like, what is this? What is this? A Michael Bay film here?
Yeah,
It was.
explosions.
But it was still really cool.
Yeah,
Cool
no, it
dudes
was.
do not look at explosions. They just blow shit up and walk away.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
The pauldrons burned in the presence of magic, which was a neat touch. Which
It was a very neat touch.
Catch yourself on a wall against gravity. I'm assuming you're meaning when they were sliding down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like, what the fuck was actually happening with it? And the
It's just
conclusion we
some-
came to was magic.
It's just some Zinchian magic thing because Zinch is the chaos god of change, but also magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bioluminescent blood. Do they not care that the coffin is lit up like it just took a dip in children's glow in the dark paint?
That was a really cool scene, though.
The
was.
bioluminescent blood.
Yeah.
Or like
was
when,
And how it's
super
just
fucking
solid dark and then it lights up.
when everything goes silent and then you just see Titus just shoot off a shot and then blood just splurts out. Oh,
Yes,
it's
but
so
those
beautiful.
those were demons.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are those
no,
are
those
really
were demons.
They were chaos demons.
So
Oh, yeah.
what they're fighting, right? The reason this ties into Space Marine 2 is because they're fighting. Spoilers if no one's played Space Marine 2. They're fighting the cultists you fight towards the end of the campaign of Space Marine 2.
Yes. This is actually the mission that the chaplain gives
Yes.
Titus at the end
Well,
of
no,
the game.
not even the chaplain. The chaplain is supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Which
Which
the chaplain's
kind of looks like he is.
he's on. I think he's on the ship. But this is the one that the leader of the Ultramarines gives him. Not
I know
Big
what you
G.
mean.
I forgot his name.
Yeah. I don't remember his name either, but I know what
Calgar.
you're talking- Yeah, Calgar.
Marnius Calgar gives him.
Nerds.
Basically. Yeah. But the chaplain did like suggest him for it too.
Yes.
Or there was something with the chaplain because I know
And I
I've seen
think
people
that
that,
was-
have said he basically sent Titus to die.
Because he hates Titus.
Yeah.
Titus
he hates
was-
him because he's not
Titus was-
susceptible to
yeah,
chaos. and
Titus
he
was his
hates
captain in the second game.
He's the reason he
Or
went to the Death
in the
Watch.
first game. Yeah. Chaplain was a major character in the first game. Asshole.
I liked the atmosphere of the
Yeah.
next scene where it got really creepy and ambient, and it was very intense, and I was like, "Ooh, what's happening?"
Yeah.
Warhammer, like the more you look into it, the more you're like, oh, this shit's actually like fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
No, it is awful. It is. There is nothing happy about these places.
I mean, it starts up. There is just war. That's like
Yeah.
the second line.
The Frozen Lord of Change was, I think, in reference to the statue.
I'm trying to see. Is this a specific Lord of Change or it's just a Lord of Change?
He's just a Lord of Change.
Yeah, because it's certainly not Kairos because it only has one head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just some.
It's just a cultist planet It's an important cultist planet that has a powerful demon.
So a Lord of Change is it's sort of like a demon prince of. So it's like the highest a demon can get
Gotcha.
as a demon of Zinch.
So, what's in the box?
Snap.
It's not Pikachu.
What's in the box?
It is some old dude, though.
It is.
And Ethan nailed it correctly because he was like, "Oh, that's probably a psyker," and I was like, "Yeah, probably." And lo and behold, you were right.
Well, if it was an astropath, it would be on the ship because they're far too useful just to throw away.
Yeah, you wouldn't
because
bring
the
them down.
astropaths,
It's the only way they can get the ship through the warp.
right? That's how they travel around space is astropaths. The psychers in general, though, he might have been an astropath. I don't know. It's hard to say. Without any more lore about that specific person, I don't know.
And then there were prayers to keep them from being absolutely destroyed by Daddy Demon.
It's not so much prayers. I guess if the psyker was like worshiping the emperor,
Yeah.
I guess it could be prayers. I don't know
Which-
for sure. It's hard to tell without more back
Emperor's
information.
essentially a psyker god.
There is,
He's the most powerful psyker in existence.
but psychers work on mental. Basically, it's basically your mental acuity,
Yeah.
your ability to project your own mental force. So it's kind of different, but
So there's a typo in the next one, where I said the Wizards of Zinj preying on the work fears of the Ultramarines. It's supposed to say worst fears of the Ultramarines.
Ah, gotcha.
And it's Sorcerer of Zinj.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it sorcerer?
It's supposed to be sorcerer.
You told
Yeah.
me wizard.
Did I say wizard?
You said
No.
wizard.
Well, they're like interchangeable words, but okay.
The thing that I noticed was it was a Dementor kiss from the eye of the Triceratops frill. That's literally the,
I mean,
the
yeah,
thought
that
that I
is
had. I was
definitely
like,
what
oh,
it looks
okay.
like. The blood looks really cool.
Yeah.
And it actually, which it does. I mean,
So that
Taurus just bleeding out on the ground definitely
was something
was a good touch.
that I had noticed was when they were actually looking, like when they were zoomed in on the actual blood itself, it looked like blood. And I was like, ooh, that's a really cool touch.
Yeah. The Goodbye Demon, Mission Primus and Secondus completed.
Well, I mean, they did it.
Yeah.
And they didn't have 100% mortality.
Well,
Where,
dying
where?
guy is dying, so of course Titus, last man standing, will be protecting him.
I don't think Titus is protecting him.
I think he's just fighting.
I think Titus is just walking away because Titus as an Ultraman is like, oh, he's dead, and is just walking away to go fucking fight until he dies.
Yeah.
fair.
I agree with that. I think Titus is just fighting to fight.
Yeah,
That's fair.
And
'Cause he's alive
If the guy
and-
somehow lives, he somehow lives. I don't
But
think he's
there's
doing
but-
anything in particular to try and save him.
No,
But
I didn't
there's
think
an
so either,
exterminatus nuke dropping onto the fucking planet, like
Yeah.
an orbital drop to the planet. So it's not like they're gonna survive much longer.
Yeah.
That's fair. I didn't even think about that. That's really fair.
Yep. So now, IMDb has it rated at an 8.8. It is a high. It is the highest rated of the show.
It's gonna be high rating for me. So
It's a high one for me.
I will give it. I'm gonna be the low one. I'm gonna give it just a flat 8. Like it's good. I don't really vibe with like Warhammer stuff. I'm like,
It's a
cool,
lot to
sure.
get into. I mean,
it is a daunting task.
I'm like, it's cool. It looks cool. I'm like, okay, whatever. I have no attachment to it besides that.
it's me. I'm a 9.7. Now maybe some of this is recency bias from playing
It
the
definitely
game,
is.
but I fucking love this episode. That would be you.
Me?
No,
Ashley.
me. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was fucked up. I rated it an 8.2. So I know a little bit about the Warhammer 40k lore only because my ex-husband was really into Warhammer 40k. So I know enough about it that it was interesting to me. But you sitting there and explaining things to me definitely helped considerably. It wasn't bad. Like I said in the previous episode, it was probably my top 3 of the episodes that I've watched thus far. And that might change with the latter 9 that we have to watch. But as of right now, this was my number 3 spot.
Based on the ratings, actually, I doubt it.
Yeah, I
I
doubt it.
really doubt it.
Hey, you never know. I might find one
true.
that I really like.
But based on the ratings for the other
The remaining.
9, they're not good. There's like 1 or 2. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe.
I have something to say
Ethan.
about that.
Yeah.
But I'll
It
quickly
was just
touch on
between them
that
two.
then
I've
before I
already said
forget it, because I will forget it. I think a lot of the ratings are skewed because of people's specific views of these video games to start out with. These IPs to start out with, and because if I look at which one was it that I thought was ridiculous that it was so low? The Mega Man one. Yeah, people just it's old, so I'm gonna rate it low.
I mean, people had the same feeling about when the Sonic movie came out because
Yeah.
I mean, Sonic 06 was awful, and everyone still talks about that like it just came out.
Anyway, my rating for this, I'm a Warhammer fan, but I am specifically a Warhammer Fantasy fan. I'm not real happy, like I didn't really get that into Warhammer 40k. They just have a lot of parallels. So I know a lot of parallels between them. Having said that, I really like this, and I'm going to rate it a 9.5, actually. I really, really enjoyed this.
The bioluminescent blood and the real blood were nice
There was
touches.
just subtle things in it.
Yeah.
I
it
thought the
was very
cinematics
well
were
done.
really, really well done.
It had some really nice touches to it, definitely.
James, you're last up.
It'd be about a 9.8 for me. Just to also preface by saying that, like, I built 3 different Warhammer armies. I've put a lot of money into Warhammer. Warhammer's probably been my most watched section on YouTube since like 2021, 2022. And I've been delving into it for the past couple of years. So this was really nice to see it more in the mainstream like this, and more like focused by a big company. That's not just
and
focused
actually
around.
well executed. Because
Yes.
there's a problem with IPs that have not been explored in film or on TV shows before coming in, especially in the past like 5 to 10 years. They come in and then they suck really hard, or they start out strong and peter out.
It's nice to see,
And it's nice to see one that's actually executed well.
Well, not just that. It's nice to see a Warhammer like episode in a show, or just a Warhammer show fully. That's not just the kind of a more big budget thing. That's not the shows that Games Workshops themselves put on Warhammer Plus.
It was also nice to see some animated violence in Warhammer that wasn't just against Tyranids or Necrons, because that's most of the other Warhammer shows that have come out are Tyranids and Necrons.
That's all
Yeah.
the Games
and it's
Workshop
basically
shows.
robots and crazy predator-like aliens.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for the setting of the game right now for 10th edition, it makes sense that
Predators and
besides the
Necrons
point.
are a thing, but I mean,
that they're the two biggest ones right now. But
yeah, but I'd rather see them fight. Like, I'd rather see, like, the Space Marines fighting, like, Chaos Space Marines or cultists. I'd rather see that than I would, or orcs even, for that matter, because orcs are a huge thing, and I don't think any of the animated stuff that they've done so far have orcs.
No.
Orcs are kind of like forgotten right now.
Yeah.
That's something.
It's really sad because they're really quite entertaining.
Yeah. So now to move on to the last episode of this recording, we're going to talk about Pac-Man. It is according to IMDb, 11-minute episode. There's only 2 characters in it. There's Puck, who is Emily Swallow.
Which is Pac-Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the essence of Pac-Man.
I mean, it's in this show, it's representing Pac-Man.
Yeah, in this show, it is Pac-Man.
Yeah, but she like turned Swordsman into Pac-Man itself.
Yeah, it's a little gold ball that opens up.
Yeah.
It's Pac-Man.
And then Swordsman is Alex Lee, who everybody knows.
I mean, just start out by saying, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah, I was not.
I actually
a big
know
fan.
both of these.
I was not really paying attention to this episode, so I don't really remember much of anything.
It's fucking
from it.
creepy.
You should watch it again. You should watch this specific episode again.
You should, and you should pay attention to it because while it's creepy, I liked it.
Us talking about it's actually probably going to be probably about as long as the actual show, though,
Alex Lee is
because it's 12 minutes.
Junso.
It's gonna be.
June
What
So
do you mean it's
from-
gonna be as long as
Well, I just realized that these are as long as the actual shows were.
like us talking about?
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Jim was
Yeah.
saying.
For the most part. So the dude pours out of the tube. He's strung by his back umbilical cord, which is creepy to start off with.
Yeah,
You're in the back to
was.
tank.
I was really disturbed by this entire episode. I'll be honest. Really disturbed.
You put what the fuck is with his face? He's just got Voldemort face. He's got no nose.
Yeah, it's just Voldemort face.
What the
Yeah.
fuck was with it?
He looks like some alien that I've seen.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I
can't
seen
think
it
of
and
it.
I thought it too.
I don't know what it's from, but,
But
I'm like, oh, that's like a very similar like alien design.
From Mass Effect.
Maybe,
Oh, he looks like Garrus without the hair,
kind of, yeah.
without a nose and without the head.
But there's
think of
definitely
what-
something. I'm like, oh yeah,
I know what you mean. I don't know. It might be Mass Effect.
And then the next question is, what is the actual longevity of this show? He's the chosen one to eat the world's ghost? Question mark.
Yeah, so like I couldn't see a storyline going beyond it.
I don't either. I think that this storyline of her getting out is about as far as they can get because I'm assuming her getting out would then open into the maze.
Okay, which is fair, but like again, what is the longevity of a show that takes place within a
but
maze?
wouldn't it also
Yeah.
be hilarious if it hard cut to a 2D Pac-Man game after she gets?
Oh, it would be
through?
great.
That would be.
And then you just hear a what the
fuck, like literally, just what the fuck is going on here?
It would be great.
It's a funny where it it like turns it on its head because you're playing a game. This game isn't about villains or who's right or wrong. There's no story to it. There's ghosts, but and you're trying to get through the maze and get all the points right. But to assume that there is any sort of story, that would mean that Pac-Man was the good guy in the video game, and most certainly is not here.
Yes. It's never once assumed that that's the good guy, though.
I mean,
And not for the video game. There's no story.
Exactly.
I mean, if we're to assume that we are playing, generally speaking, video games in
play the
general,
hero.
you play the hero.
Yeah.
Especially games back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Chosen isn't very good at hunting. After making let's I'm gonna reel this back. So this starts with that coming out, the Puck saying your sole objective is to eat, and gives him a sword and basically takes him around the world teaching him how to fight. So that's essentially the gist of it, is he goes around fighting things and eating the things that he kills. With that being said, the Chosen isn't very good at hunting. After making a kill on a small rabbit-like creature, he is immediately nearly picked off by a much bigger creature that he somehow, of course, is able to defeat.
Somehow.
Yeah. It would have been funnier to me if he would have died there and you've seen the second one fall, but it wouldn't have had the creepy factor of the end.
Yeah.
Raw meat with a burning campfire. Enjoy : hell, my guy.
I mean, to be fair, that's how you get a lot of
Yeah.
internal intestinal problems.
You're also assuming that he has a stomach that functions in the same way that
I mean, that's fair, but I don't like the implications of that, Tyler.
I'm just saying.
I don't like that.
Purple thing equals the ghost. You can eat everything but their eyes.
Which were creepy.
That is just trying to make some weird reference to the
game.
game because if they're looking at you.
Well, whenever you turn them blue and you eat them, their eyes go back in the game.
Yeah.
that's literally
That's the only thing that is left after you eat them. That's the only reference to it. What is the giant thing he gets swat by at the Chosen Person Tower? Really fucking sucks.
It's a Barogura.
Yeah.
It's just a giant monkey demon looking thing.
Gotcha. I didn't know.
This isn't Pac-Man.
It wasn't
It's
fucking
not.
Pac-Man.
It's not. The golden snitch just burrowed into his back, which he did.
I mean,
but isn't that Pac-Man just literally sneaking up behind him and eating?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Ominous ball is ominous.
Oh yeah.
Ominous ball was ominous.
Yeah. There's strength and repetition, which is what she says, and a horrifying feel, because this has such a horrifying feel to the show.
It's
Like,
really creepy.
You know,
it
was
was
disturbing.
so odd of
if you
a
haven't watched
choice.
it, our descriptions of it don't make it seem super creepy, but it is really creepy.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the Winnie the Pooh movie and the stuff that went in the public domain in the last couple of years that they're like, let's make a horror franchise out of
Yeah,
that.
it does,
And I'm
because it's
like-
not very well put together, and it's just meant for like shock factor, I think.
Yeah.
I don't see the longevity of that.
I don't
becoming a
think there
show
is.
at all.
I think this is a one and done thing.
Yeah, I would assume.
Well, aren't
yeah.
they making a game?
They're making a game.
A game?
Yeah, making a game, but I mean,
Is
That's
it
fine.
based off of this?
yeah,
Yes.
it said it was.
What is it going to be? Like Outlast meets Pac-Man? No fucking thank you. I don't want a horror.
Probably more like a
Pac-Man.
Soulsborne meets Pac-Man.
Jesus.
Probably.
I don't want it.
It might be interesting if it was more survival.
And that's
If it
probably
was like Sons of the Forest,
that's
but with
probably kind of what it's going to be, without
Yeah.
the building.
No.
yeah, Sons of the Forest, but it's this Pac-Man.
But
world.
without the building is probably
Probably not.
how I would
Building.
assume. But
Yeah, maybe more like Far Cry Primal.
yeah,
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. Who knows?
so it's rated on IMDb a 6.8, and now we get to talk about our ratings.
Okay. 2. That's Jared.
Well, 6 3/4.
Okay.
2. That's Ethan.
Double D.
And it's another. I'll do another flat 7.0.
That's me. I give it a 7.5. I know it's terrifying, but I liked it.
I enjoyed it.
It's like right up my alley.
I enjoyed it.
3. That's you, James.
I go with Ethan. Just a flat 7.
I changed mine to 7.01.
Retroactively, can't be the same.
Please do 7.01. So he has to change it again.
No, I gave it a much lower score than
I
that.
figured.
I gave it a 5.75. Just it was my least favorite out of all of the ones that I've watched thus far. It freaked me the fuck out. I was like, no thanks.
Do you like horror movies or anything like that?
No, my ex-husband used to think it was funny to make me watch and or play horror games, and like I don't like playing games like Phasmophobia. I freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
I don't like playing games like Outlast, and he thought it was hilarious. So
That's
no,
shitty.
I've never been a big horror person.
If somebody doesn't like something, I'm not going to.
I don't like horror games either because if I'm making the decisions, my decision is I don't want to play this game.
Yeah.
Like, get me the fuck out of here.
I made it 5 minutes into Amnesia: Dark Descent,
Yeah, that's fair.
and that 5 minutes
It's basically
was me
inside the house, isn't it?
trying to move into the dark corridor at the beginning.
No.
Mike, why would I do that? It's bright in here. I'm gonna stay here. This is a dining room.
I can't do.
See, if I would just be like blind, just like.
I can't do horror games.
I can't.
I don't know if it's because I'm controlling it and I can't do it,
That's what mine is.
or because like I like horror movies.
Because me and him watched a playthrough of it, and I was fine watching the playthrough.
And then when you try,
I just can't make. I just was like, why would I make that choice? I'm not gonna make that choice.
You
So I'm
can't
watching-
force yourself to make illogical choices.
Right, and moving into a darkness that is obviously trying to kill me is an illogical choice.
Yeah.
I fucking love horror games. Love horror games. So fucking hate horror movies. Love horror games. But
Like all the spectrums here.
Yeah,
like one of my all-time favorite
horror
games.
games, not horror movies. Horror movies, not horror games. None of it.
I do movies.
Can watch it.
Yeah, I can watch
Dead Space 1 is like one of my favorite horror games like ever. It's so fucking good.
See, I'm trying to think of how to word it. Like I know that's a horror game technically,
Oh,
but it doesn't feel the same as like Amnesia horror games or
mean,
like the whole
yeah, okay,
you're just
well,
caught and have to
I don't know,
escape
it's
kind of
like
thing.
Atlas is not Atlas, but Outlast. Fucking love Outlast. But
Atlas is a different type
I
of
know.
horror.
I hated
It's
that
definitely
game.
horror, but that's
But-
just because you're playing Atlas.
Why?
It's a horror for your computer.
like old school horror games are also like a lot of fun. Like the old school Thief games were their own type of horror, but they were scary. Shit was creepy.
It was creepy.
Or the old school game where it dealt with like the OG like insanity meter, and the more like your game would like flip around to deal with that insanity. What the fuck? Dark Requiem? No.
I don't know.
Don't know.
I'm gonna look it up, and I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna look it up.
He's gonna look it up.
I mean, like Sons of the Forest, like that. I
That's
can play.
a
I can
horror,
play that
technically.
game because there's logical choices you could make to go against what the game is trying to do to you.
Yeah, when the goddamn fucking worms decide they want to build up and fly at me like a giant fucking bat.
It's fine. It's fine because
It's fine.
You still have
Oh,
choices to
fuck is
make,
that
like
blocking
with
out the
your,
fucking sign?
like with weapons and stuff like that, and with building. You have choices to make to fight against the game. Games like Amnesia or Phasmophobia, you don't have that. You just
Yeah,
have to
you're
deal with it, whatever comes at you at any one point.
I think that's why I don't like it, maybe.
Yeah, it's because you don't have any real effect on the world around you.
But like Dead Space, you kill it.
Yeah. Dead
You know what
Space
I
is fine. You get to shoot it.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's like dealing with the flood in the older
Yeah.
Halo games. You know, it's fine.
Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem.
Gotcha. Well, on that note, that wraps up this episode of Secret Level.
Yeah. Just don't try to watch like this one before bed because yeah,
It's really creepy.
it's really creepy.
It is creepy, but
It's just it's not like super scary. It's just really creepy.
It is.
Unless you're like me and I kind of like gore.
yeah.
And I'm fine.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We will catch you on the next one. Use the link in the description to go to our Discord.
Bye.
Adios.
Goodbye.